Ok, on n'entend pas rien? Ouais. Si on n'entend rien derrière, c'est correct. Parce que j'ai un évidificateur ouvert en arrière. Il fait crissement du bruit. Donc, je dis ça. Ça, le micro, il fait sa job. C'est ça, ça veut dire. Ça, c'est bon, là. C'est au moins le micro fait sa job. Moi, il m'énerve. Parce que moi, je suis dû à côté. C'est moi, je l'entends à travers mon headset, là. C'est mieux, je l'aille pareil, quand même. C'est un même. C'est moins pire. Parce qu'il y a beaucoup d'humidité dans ma chambre, ça veut dire. C'était le temps, là. C'était le temps. C'était le temps à un moment donné, là. Attends, c'est crash là, Charlis. Ça m'écoeure, ces crash là, pour de vrai, là. C'est crap as fuck quand ça arrive. Je comprends pas pourquoi. C'est genre, c'est un peu random crash, là. Bon, ça va dépendre comment ça va me prendre de temps. Le DLC pis tout. Après, pas de jouer à Patriotisme. Mais avant Patriotisme. Là, je sais que je vais avoir la CIPOC. Je vais voir combien il va durer. Après, c'est Dragon Dogma. Après. Dépendant c'est quoi qui arrive là. Les random weird crash, je les comprends pas. C'est comme si le jeu manquerait comme de mémoire ou quelque chose. Là. Ah, c'est vrai, les golems, moi je peux pas les tuer avec ce bonhomme-là. Ouais, ce bonhomme-là, comment il deal avec les golems? Les magies golems? Bonne question, hein?
ひとたび道に迷えば昼間でも自分がどこにいるかわからなくなる。狼は群れで行動します。そんな危険を冒してまでここに物取りに来る旅人は少ないようです。
マジナイ氏が最後に村を訪れたのは随分と昔のことなの。
了解しました。
もうここには住んでないかもしれないけど何か少しでも手がかりがあれば。
Oh boy. Ça passe par en bas, moi c'est par en bas, je veux d'autres. Ça. Ah, j'ai pas assez dormi le cœur des semaines. Ah, ça revient à la même affaire. There we go. Mon golem, je sais, c'est. Faut que je grimpe dessus puis je le tape. Avec mes dents normales.
ようやく着いたようですね。おそらくここが目的の場所です。ここに魔女と呼ばれる少女がいます。
La magie de golem, lui, le problème, je sais, il a une de ses affaires que je peux pas le ramasser.
宝が中は何でしょう。
Ah, la brosse à étoile était là. Ah, là, je peux sortir dans ma chaise parce que. L'étourdissement qui pogne, là. On va 4 heures, je vais voir c'est quoi je vais faire parce que ça se peut que j'arrête le stream ou. Je sais pas. Parce que il y a.
ゴブリンがいます。気をつけて。
Un lancement, je vais regarder.
何かが潜んでいるかもしれま
Un
せん。
interview, je vais regarder, je veux dire.
木の周辺にはいろんな植物が群生してい
C'est
ます。
pas mon affaire. At night, la night est la veille.
準備が整ったら、じゃあどうするね。無理せず。はいよ、了解。
Gel, oh. C'est 100% sûr que je ramasse ça, ça vaut cher. C'est 750 000 là, pour 10 caméras. Yeah, accept that, man.
魔物ヒュージブ、うかつに水に浸かり続けると
私の姿が見えるのです。ならばあなたは各社であるあなたに恋ます。ありがとう。今あな
Ça, c'est juste unlock à ce place-là. Je ferai rien dans ce place-là pour l'instant, parce que je vais finir le base game avant. Il ferme un peu.
あなたはあなたの意志でその使命を受け入れたのですか？各社、そう、あなたは各社でしたね。ここは先ほどの浜から遠い沖にある島、国樹島。私はあなたに探索をお願いしたいのです。
He's dead.
本来なら私はあなたに何もかもを
Ça, c'est un shortcut là.
こちら側からは開かないようですね。
Quand même beaucoup de shortcuts ici.
崖際は気をつけてください。
私には私の力をお貸しします。
Ok,
あ
c'est
なたへの気
purification,
が
c'est
お
tout.
気をつけ
Non, t'es là, shortcut. Ah, puis t'as black. Toup. Il y a rien ici, ça veut dire que... Faudrait que je commence à avancer pis tout, mais non. J'ai comme mal chier mon sommeil, ça veut dire, là, je suis comme...
なるほど、ここがポーンギルド。
Je suis comme fuck mes rênes, moi, là.
あれがなんだその意志そう
鍛冶屋のさん。本当に良かったですね。
Bon, Chimera, Griffin, ça c'est pas tout de suite. C'est 500 000, 750, ça c'est beaucoup. Ça représente ça là.
ご用は終わりですか。
このポーンギルドでは我々ポーンを呼び出すこともできます。
Alors, je me réveille crissement plusieurs fois, ça m'énerve. Déjà, je vais m'avoir poussé et m'a endormi, genre peut-être 2 heures. Même pas. J'ai peut-être dormi un peu. Les alentours, je me couchais, après je me réveille vers genre 2 heures. Après, je dois rendormir, puis après je me réveille vers des alentours 6 heures, ça me casse.
これがエヴァーホール。
J'ai pas dormi comme du monde.
グランソ連の下にこんな空間があったなんて。そこの方から何かを感じます。何度もここを訪れることになるでしょうね。
C'était pour ce film d'aujourd'hui, il va être un peu fuck là. Quelque chose de mon sommeil de merde.
領土の地下ですが敵も潜んでいるようです。
Parce que là, je vois pour rien. C'est mon pont qui se fait attaquer, mais lui, il sent pas de dégâts. C'est comme. Il a même pas mangé un dégât, là. Ça prouve à quel point, là. Il sent encore lui s'il éteint, là. S'il va juste vous regarder croche, il va dire tu m'as tapé.
この取っ手は全ての扉を一斉に操作できます。
Il peut pas de rien ici, là.
アンデッドが現れました。
Qu'est-ce que tu fais comme matin?
どうやら炎が苦手なようです。
Ah, ok, vous êtes vivant quand. Ça, j'aime pas. ここは聖なる力を武器に行きます。標的は私が引き受けます。どうやら光が苦手なようです。アンデッドが現れました。やりました。この場所、我々ポーンに縁がある場所のようです。 Ouais, j'ai lui votre puissant. Là, il est certain de ça. Ça s'appelle puissant.
閉じていた扉は開き、逆に開いていた扉は閉じるようです。アンデッドがいます。ウォリアーアンデッドが現れました。どうやら炎が苦手なようです。こいつ離せ。どうやら光が苦手なようです。我々の勝利です。ウォリアーアンデッドがいます。アンデッドです。やりました。
Hein? Non, Magic Gleam, c'est fucking worth it. C'est Undead, l'autre c'est Single Target, l'autre c'est fucking AOE d'une petite place.
あの光はな。逃げてください。早く。戦おうなどとは考えないで逃げるんです。逃げてください。捕まれは命はありません。了解しました。逃げてください。早く。
Une place sur des squelettes pour me bloquer. Je vais arrêter d'en boire là, parce que je dois. Bu la moitié quasiment. Je vais laisser ça. Ça.
な、しかし我々
にとってもここは安息の
失礼お話を。
Walter.
貴殿がこう証明し。
城門、奥は両王の城でしょうか。普段はもっと活気があるのでしょうか。領主エドマン様、別名竜王とも呼ばれる英雄です。かつてドラゴンを倒し、この地に凱旋、ほどなく領主として統治を始めました。民からは危機を救った救世主として絶大な信奉を得ています。人々はいろんな表情を持っていますね。彼の治めるこのフランシスは比較的治安も良く、政治も安定しています。消防隊を組織し、兵力増強にも余念がありません。彼を称賛する声は半島のあちこちで聞かれますが、ここからも外に出られるようですね。ここにも人が住んでいるのですね。ここは職を持たない人々が住む区域のようです。彼がどのようにドラゴンを退けたかは詳しいものはいないようです。
Là, j'ai pas jamais sorti d'ici sans l'échelle, ça je veux voir. On peut-tu sortir d'ici sans l'échelle? Pas en tout, t'es obligé de le prendre.
その情報は我々も得ていませんね。
J'aurais voulu Mason parce que j'ai
この旅の
quelque
櫓ですね
chose.
お世話になることでしょう
お前好きなのさあ了解だ
Ah, ça, c'est plus Tank Mage que JS. C'est 100% ça.
何かあるようです
あらいい品しかいい品またの
C'est quoi ça donne ici?
何かありますよ
Ça.
この宿屋は宿泊だけでなく転職屋
これって一つそうもしそういかんどう
Et là, lui, c'est la nuit.
あんた僕はそいつを見
金くら好きなさあ了解
Faudrait que j'aille quelque chose d'eau, quelque chose à boire. Que je pourrais mettre quelque chose dedans, qui on est.
まあ好きなだけ好きなだけまた
しかしどれも一品だ
Ok, lui, il n'y a pas d'allumettes pour l'instant. Il n'y a pas l'air d'avoir cloté non plus. Ah, les bottes, il y en a pas.
どれも一品だ
La tunique peut upgrader, mais fuck that, là.
どれも一品だそうあんどれも一品また
On va Ouais, c'est vraiment Shadow, je suis suspect. Avant, je vais faire ça vite.
ごきげんよう。
Ah non, ça sert à rien.
まさか城内の騎士が救済と。後を追って行き先を確かめましょう。一定の距離を保ってください。
Il va disparaître. Ah, tout de suite, quand il touche à ce portail, il disparaît. Ok. Ouais, moi, je suis ben. Je suis pas close à la résistance, là, présentement. J'ai les loadings. Si au moins le 2 il va être vraiment. Il va être 100% open world, ça les loadings ils vont presque pas exister. Là. Ça te met un. Les loadings, là, c'est tellement vieux, puis c'est plus bon, là. Les loadings, là.
酒場の主人に報告に行きましょう。
On a vu le jeu, il est de 2012, ça, c'est un petit peu normal, là.
あ、
ここは酒場でしょうか。盗賊団のことですから。きっと隠すように。
Grimoire pas de suite.
違いありません。
Ah, là, j'allais ramasser toutes les quests. Du sort est là. Et quand j'en finis, je vais au-dessus de dragon, mais ouais, il y a beaucoup de gardes qui vont crever. C'est ça que j'ai dit.
あなたきれい。それはすべては各社きれい。こちらからお選び了解。これも各社にいくつかきれいに。何がしか。きれい了解します。ドラゴン手がか。きれいこちらから了解。報酬一個ご活躍。きれいこちらからこれはドラゴンきれいに置かれてだがきれいがこちらから了解9ドラきれいに 貴殿がこちらから了解。それも恐れ私これも
Bon, ça je peux pas le faire.
メレディスという町人が情報を持っているはずです。メレディスを探せば話が早そうです。
Ah, c'est lui en dedans. Eh?
情報を持った人物がいるはずです。探してみましょう。
Ah, c'est lui en dedans. Ah, ça c'était ouais dans ce spot-là, c'est plus bien déservé.
救済情報はメイソンに聞きましょう。
Mais
彼
ça.
ならきっと町の水路周辺です。
Mais ils sont tout à la même place. Ou en bas là.
« メイソンのねぐらはこっちです。
Ok, super. Là, je passe du monde.
サラスという町人が詳しい情報を持っていた気が。
Je pars courir, je tenais un soldat. Yep. D'autres que je veux parler étaient là. There we go. Ça c'est fait. Y'a personne dans la ville, ok. Cat, no chat. Cat. 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 Mon chat. Alors, il se pogne sur mon divan puis il fait ses griffes, câlisse. En plus, il y a une table, il y a une patente tu sais, pour faire ses griffes. C'est ça, lui. Il t'attend, là, je là.
北の砦に到着です。
On va dropper un autre affaire là-bas, là. Un autre pot de cristal là-bas. Ah, là, il va y avoir des loups à. Ouais,
この辺りまで来ると
Seigneur de loups de merde. J'ai révélé ça parce que j'ai passé.
狼より攻撃的な相手です。飛びつきには注意してください。
C'est pas drôle à dire, mais je suis plus dangereux en physical qu'en magie.
力を合わせた結果です。
Bon. Faut que je hit correctement aussi.
あの辺りに人影が見えます。行ってみましょう。ダイヤウルフです。そちらに行きます。
J'en prends beaucoup mon calice de porc, il fait l'attarder là-bas, là.
人があまり立ち入らない
Ah, il mourait.
魔物も独自の生態系を作ります。今助けます。
J'ai jamais demandé d'envoyer du fire.
での攻撃が効いています。 何度でも回復します。
Ok,
炎が弱点ですね。
Non, reste avec moi. Y'a pas de Cyclops ici, non? Ok, d'où tu sors, toi? Y'a pas plus de direct devant ma place, lui.
盾で弾けばチャンスです。
Y'a pas rien.
炎が弱点ですね。狼より攻撃的な相手です。ウォリアーアンデッドがいます。
Allez là. On aurait éclaté. Seigneur, pourquoi ça mise tout? Maman! 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 Ah, c'est des undead. C'est ça. Je vais en mettre un. Lâche ça. Tu touches pas le rideau. Mais son, vas-y!
ようやく到着です。
今のお前我が伝え各社我が
この結果をマクシミリアン氏に伝えに戻りましょう。北の方に降りる道のようですね。何かありますよ。何かあるようです。
Ah, lui, il est fait. Je vais en mettre un devant le catacombe après. Maman, 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 maman. Je l'ai pas ici. Non, les squelettes sont pas épeurés.
スケルトンが現れました。力を合わせた結果です。スケルトンです。我々の勝利です。この泉は入ると体力が回復します。
Il y a Cyclops là. Ah.
大きな石です。そのせいで見通しも悪いですが、しばらく武器は使えないでしょう。サイクロプスの牙が折れました。
Ouais, bof.
サイ サイクロプスが現れました。雷属性の攻撃を体勢を崩しました。チャンスです。
On va faire les cocher parce que faisait des gars ça.
防具に弾かれます。折れたサイクロプスの牙は手に入れておきましょう。目が兜で隠れていますよ。チャンスです。ゴブリンがいます。気をつけて。力を合わせた結果です。ゴブリンです。やりました。
Hein? Okay, Y can be Z. J'en ai trop mis. Bon, voilà. Si j'ai pas besoin de rien, putain.
今は訪れる者もほとんどいない古い場所です。ランタンをつけて進まないと危険ですね。そのような祈りが込められていたと推察されます。気をつけてください。アンデッドが潜んでいます。その壁は乗り越えられそうです。アンデッドが現れました。蓋の閉まっている棺に気をつけてください。罠が仕掛けられていることもあります。何か有利に戦える方法は。明かりをつければ罠かどうかは分かります。部屋の奥にはアンデッドがいます。聖なる攻撃で一気に倒しましょう。明かりで照らせば仕掛けが見つかるかもしれません。一体いつの時代のものなのか。墓という概念は私たちには存在しません。しかしここが異質な空間であるというのは理解できます。何度来てもこの空間は好きになれません。足元に注意してください。この明かりもつけておきますが、アンデッドです。ここは聖なる力を武器に行きます。何かあるようです。
y a rien d'important.
地下に続いているようです。この取っ手を使えば何かの装置のようですが、迷路のような構造は天然の洞穴を利用した構造のせいでしょう。それだけに一体よからぬ企みや計り事を話すには絶好の場所。宝が中は何でしょう。
What the fuck? C'est ça, c'était weird. Allez, c'est évolué.
魔物のバッグもさることながら、人の安堵をさらに歪めて増幅させる、そんな力がここにはあるのかもしれません。アンデッドが現れました。 ホットアンデッドがいます。やりました。体力を奪い成長します。注意を。我々の勝利です。アンデッドがいます。力を合わせた結果です。アンデッドが現れました。日記の切れ端のようですね。扉の右側に装置があるはずです。アンデッドです。聞いています。
OK。
我々の勝利です。スケルトンメイジです。力を合わせた結果です。
Là, il n'y a rien, right?
スケルトンナイトです。やりました。
Mais celle-là, ça soit bien tiré.
まるで迷路です。迷わないようにしましょう。危険なら戻ってこられます。降りてきます。この獣人、女性に目がないようです。まずい。魔物が興奮し始めました。ここのところに大きな段差がありますね。魔物と出くわしたら段差をうまく利用しましょう。好戦的な獣人です。やりました。
That's it. Parce que moi, je vois même pas les monstres qui me parlent, parce qu'ils sont déjà dead. Bon, pas oublier d'aller ouvrir ce porte-là ici.
聞こえますか。人の声がします。声のする方に行ってみましょう。さっきよりも声がはっきりと聞こえます。
あらゆる困窮、不幸、苦痛は物質世界での魂の不完全さが生み出す根源的かつ不可避なもの。では救いとは何か。それは快楽ではない。
アンデッドの群れです。炎での攻撃が効いています。力を合わせた結果です。ひるまず攻撃してきます。気をつけて。声のする方に行ってみましょう。神聖魔法の攻撃を加えていきましょう。
エリシオン氏はおっしゃった。
的確な判断だと思い。
Ah, c'est bête.
他に方法もありませんでしたし。
Oh man. This one.
魔物のものでしょうか。ゴブリンがいます。気をつけて。ゴブリンよりも手強いタイプです。強敵は私が引き受けます。ゴブゴブリンは火に弱い。そこを攻めていきましょう。
Ça manquait là. Ça arrive pas souvent, mais tchao, j'essaie d'en mettre dans sa vie.
地下に入る罠を探しましょう。ここから降りられそうです。油断せずに行きましょう。
Come on.
ゴブリンがいます。気をつけて。ゴブゴブリン、手強い相手です。やりました。まずは門を開ける装置を探しましょう。アイテムを拾います。門を開けるための装置ですから、門の近くにあるのでは。扉ではなく階段を上がり、開けた場所に出るのが賢明かと。ゴブリンがいます。気をつけて。どうにか向こう側に逃れればあのバリスタを使えそうです。力を合わせた結果です。ここからバリスタのあるところに登れそうですよ。この小屋は中に何かあるのでしょうか。開きませんね。内側から開ける仕組みのようです。サイクロプスがいます。ここは戦いを避けた方が良さそうです。ホブゴブリンがいます。気をつけて。
There we go.
各社殿、よくやってくれました。
みんなで蹴散らしてしまいました。
さあ、このまま一気に攻めるぞ。総員続け。
ゴブリンよりも手強いタイプです。さすが領土の兵たちです。勝てそうですよ。サイクロプスがいます。チャンス、攻防を落としました。雷でひるませましょう。折れたサイクロプスの牙は手に入れておきましょう。この穴は体の小さなものなら入れる。サイクロプスの牙が折れました。ゴブリンがいます。気をつけて。雷属性の攻撃を
Salut Maléfica. D'un peu. Maléfica. Yeah. Juste en dire. Faut pas que je dise mes affaires. Bon. Bon, le job, merci. Bonsoir, bye bye. Ça va, un peu fatigué, là. Un peu chez mon sommeil aujourd'hui. Pour ça, ça va très bien. What the fuck? Ah, j'allais dire, si je brise pas ses affaires, il y a un problème là. Bon, les gobelins sont drunk, crif. Putain. Genre, il y avait même plus de Cyclops. Il y avait plus rien. Comme. Seigneur, là. Ouais, descendre ça un peu. C'est fini. Et voilà. What? The fuck? Ok, les maudits gobelins qui spawnent genre 3 secondes après. Merci pour le follow pour ça. PC. Je joue juste avec une manette Xbox parce que. Yeah. Le jeu, je joue mieux avec une manette, mais. Je sais que le monde ils disent qu'ils jouent bien avec clavier souris, mais. Ce type de jeu-là, je joue tout le temps avec une manette, moi. Lui, il a disparu en avantage. Et lui, je peux pas le hit, tu viens ici. Ouais, le ricochet, c'est pas bon pantoute. Elle posera pas. On est en train de souper. Ben, moi, je voulais jouer. Mon cousin, il en a parlé. Sauf lui va jouer, il va faire le speedrun mode. Moi, ça me tentait juste de tester un Magic Archer. On va commencer, là. Avant le deuxième, il sort. Et c'est assez innocent le Magic Archer, je peux dire, vraiment, là. C'est très bon single target si t'es capable de prendre comme certains mobs dans une fucking room, c'est drôle. Je les ricochets, ça tue tout. Ça n'a pas d'allure. Ces deux-là sont morts, je les ai jamais vus. T'as fait du spawn, toi? Et lui, il est dead. Ah, il faut que j'attende un peu parce que J'ai un petit peu glitché ça, là. Ça s'appelle tuer trop vite. Bon, travers. Ok. Ça, il me resterait. Faudrait que j'aille parler au prêtre. Là, c'est ça le les bandits. Ouais, parler au prêtre en premier. T'sais, là, je rush un peu mes quests parce que je veux me rendre dans le post-game, ça genre tuer le dragon, puis on commence le DLC.
意味ありげな石が並んでいますが
Bon, le prêtre, le prêtre, le prêtre.
昼と夜ではまた趣が違いますね
ごきげんよう。おお、両なる。またお。やはり我がともかく。
Là. Bon, il est-tu là, l'encul? Nope. Son gifle déjà, il est ici. Ok, t'es où, moi, Farnival? Je me trompe pas, t'as une quest que j'ai besoin de faire.
ジェフリー一世は教会にいるはずです
Hein?
ようこさて急ぎや
Bon, Là, je réfléchis, c'est quoi que je fais, là.
準備が整ったら早速出
Parce
発
que
し
j'ai
ま
une interview que je vais regarder. Euh...
南の村に現れたという竜を見たか。どうも。ここ最近だ。
J'ai lu, ça faisait rien. Il était ici, l'encul.
あんた書くところであんたではな。
Bon. Deux secondes, je vais aller préparer ça. Je vais faire deux snows en même temps aussi.
Attends, faut pas s'initier. この領土のどこかにいます
私いくら人も
さても聞かれよ。
南の村に現れたという。私はイフ。困惑。
そういえば
Je veux qu'il requiert. Wow.
Maman, いくら僕は
おそらくピップ様は職人街にいると思われます
あ
Je sais exactement il est où le gars, là. Ça veut dire que je vais juste trouver là-bas.
Hito見知りなのでしょうか。もう一度説得してみましょう。領土の宿屋は旅の拠点です。ここを中心に活動することになります。逃げ回るピップ様を捕まえましょう。要は戦闘時のつかみと同様です。
あんた相当しぶとい。バカ。いいよ。もういい。
あとはサラ様を説得するだけです、
いやいや。Mit wird okay. There we go.
意外と海が近いですね。
全員やれ。
大きな木ですね。近づくとひときわ大きく見えます。武装した敵です。我々の勝利です。
助けてくれ。
弱い敵はお任せします。
やめろ。何をする。ありゃある。そんな
探し物はモールシのところにあるようですね。
Bon. There we go.
« 寂しげな場所ですね。狼は群れで行動します。この近辺は盗賊団の縄張りです。
俺たちに喧嘩ふっかけるってか。
武装した敵です。
止めるな。上がれ。
スキルの大きい技をかわし、主語を狙いましょう。この近辺は盗賊団の縄張りです。友好関係があればいいんですが。隙のできる機会があれば。隙の大きい技をかわし、主語を狙いましょう。
隙を見逃すな。
お任せください。武装した敵がいます。力を合わせた結果です。道が分かれていますね。行き先をよく確認しましょう。 こんなところに砦があるとは何のためのものでしょう。鳥か魔物か何者かの気配がしますね。盗賊の頭目と
邪魔だどけ。
直後を狙いましょう。
What the fuck?
殺されてえのか。いいな。
隙のできる機会があれば、隙の大きい技をかわし直後を狙いましょう。傷を癒しましょう。各社様、ここを上です。
Lol. Charlie Sports, arrête!
あれは監視塔でしょうか。登ることもできそうですが、ここから上がれそうです。ステファンさんのところに行きま。
Charlie Sports! Sauce, tschüss. Ça marche pas.
意外と海が近いですね。
Scheiße, schon.
木の周辺にはいろんな植物が群生していますね。ゴブリンがいます。気をつけて。我々の勝利です。ゴブリンです。やりました。複雑な地形のようですが、足場はあるのでしょうか。大きな滝、落ちたらひとたまりもありませんね。複雑な地形ですね。足場をよく見て道を。
お願い。
滝の裏に入り口があります。体中が濡れてしまいました。
Oh, je reviens, ça sera pas long. Bon, là, 2 secondes. Je vais faire quelque chose. Open. There we go.
Oh, that's how that works. Listening to the interview or chilling in Sanctum. Sanctum's good too. Hey, I did a day of it yesterday because I hadn't really done much of it since Sanctum League. I did a day of it yesterday. It's actually pretty sweet. Yeah. Can I look at your hideout? Sure. Oh god, I changed weapons again. Dang it. I rebound it to the other side of my bloody keyboard and I still do it. There we go.
There we go.
Alright, now that you're in my hideout, I'm logging out because we are getting ready for the podcast. We only have a minute to go. I will go to the starting screen soon so that I can set up the scenes and everything. Technically I can do it on studio mode, but I don't have anything interesting to show you anyway. You don't need to see my face. Studio mode. Podcast. There we go. Lock hideout on your way out, please. Lock hideout? What does that mean? We can open with weird pause and Taki cut here. Aww. It's sad Taki's not playing PoE currently to join us for this. I always have Discord noises. I always have all noises muted. I hate things making noises. Phone on silent, Discord on silent, microwave on silent. Getting a new microwave that you can mute. Oh my god, what an improvement to my life. Good rat gyrating, folks. Okay, I'm gonna start up the call. Starting up the call to set up. Ba-ba-da-boo-ba-doo. Okay. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Meow.
Meow. Hello. Oh. Hi. Can we?
Oh, that's right. Microphones. We need those.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have to comment and praise the audio visual improvements at the GGG studios of late. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get a audio check from you, Rise, and Noogie, if we could? While I full screen this.
I'm audio checking.
Hello.
I'm checking audio 1 through 3. Audio
1,
checking.
2.
Okay, you sound pretty good. Pretty good. Let us know, folks, chat, how people sound. Alright, can I get another one off you, Rise?
I'm checking audio.
Okay,
Why is my camera so zoomed in? Is this just me?
I'm gonna crank
just
you.
be a zoomed in boy now.
Looks normal to me.
Really? I'm an SRS on my screen.
Yeah, Noogie, Rise is a little low. Now, Noogie?
Yeah, hello. 1, 2. Testing.
Noogie's a little loud, isn't he? Child time done. There we go.
Water? I'll be right back.
Yeah, Rise is a bit quiet. Okay, I'm just
should be loud.
He left. I was just about to set up the scenes. Well, I would just like to officially announce that it is 8 AM, the exact start time of the podcast, and that Rise abandoned. There
Back, sorry.
You're not forgiven. Okay, let me set up the scenes real quick. Apologies, basically no way except to do this live. If Discord had some sort of preview feature, it would be amazing. For like simulating a call.
I just realized I should probably move this there under the camera so we're looking at you guys more.
Looks pretty good.
There we go. That's better.
Okay, and we have Rise. Almost. Try and get you cropped somewhat nicely, Rise. I'm doing this on a tiny little screen. And Noogie.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm just cropping you, mate. Just stay exactly as you are. You are perfect as you are, Noogie. Amazing.
Do you make? Could you maybe crop me a little wider?
A little wider.
Yeah, maybe a little buff.
I don't. Sorry, I don't have that filter.
Like over the chest area a bit.
Apology.
You know?
Okay. All right, here we go. All right, folks, we're about to start. 3, 2, 1, and clicking the right button. Hello, folks. Ziggy D here. Welcome back, Exiles. We are joined by Rise QT and Nugian to chat to developers Rory and Jonathan from Grind Gear Games today. Thanks for joining us once again, folks.
No problem.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Very excited to see you guys doing so much kind of pre-PoE 2 beta discussions with everyone here. Answering so many questions. I've been hearing like a lot of stuff I'm really excited about too, like quality of life and visual improvements and access to content and things. So it's good. It's good.
Awesome.
So we have a lot of interesting questions today, and we're going to jump straight into them if that's all right with you fine folks.
Right.
And I've been curious about, so it was originally announced that the Path of Exile 1 and 2 endgames would be combined and would be a joined thing. Now that we've had the announcement that the two games are separate, what is exactly the plan for endgame now?
So we aren't yet announcing the full plan, but we have got a design. The overall kind of like, I guess like approach is very similar to what we're doing now, as far as like it's going to have maps in it, right? Like that's the main thing. But like the specifics, I want to be quite different. Like I want it to feel quite different than how it felt before. Like so that we can do something that feels like it's an evolution. So yeah, we've got a plan for it. The end game is going to be in the beta, so you will get to experience that. We'll sort of announce it a little bit closer to when the beta's happening. But I guess like a lot of questions people have about like how much access to content will there be as far as like number of things add to a map and all these kind of things. Like those are questions that we'll be announcing a little bit closer. But if you have any sort of more specific concerns about it, I'm happy to address them.
So they're not going to be a combined endgame at all now anymore, like that?
No, they're not. They're going to be separate. And I think that now that they're separate games, it just it just makes sense for them to be separate. And like all the bosses from campaign of PoE 2 will come in the end game in the end game as well, and that kind of stuff. So it'll just end up being quite different.
Yeah. So obviously like a whole bunch of different map bosses and things like that. But will we see a big divergence in like the structure of them? How we have like atlas passive trees and things like that?
Well, I mean, sort of hard to sort of tread the line here of what to say about this, because yes, there are changes, but as I said, I think it will feel quite different while mechanically not removing anything that can currently be done, if you know what I mean. That's kind of at least what I'm trying to go for. If that's like enough of a hint, I guess, for you.
Yeah.
Which I guess is what we've got here.
No, I get it, but I have to say I'm just like in love with the current endgame state of Path of Exile 1, so looking forward to see how you build
I'll tell you what, the thing that people do love about it is the fact that there are lots of different things you can do, and there's also the ability to choose what it is that you what it is that you want to do. And I think those are the philosophies that we want to make sure that we're retaining as much as possible, and even amplifying in the base system. Like I want to make sure that that feeling of like, oh yeah, I can choose what type of content I'm doing is definitely a core part of what we're designing there.
All right, wonderful. Rise, can you take us away for the next question, mate?
Sure, I'll just read it off. Do you plan to change the high-end power level in PoE 2? Will you still be able to one-shot entire maps and Ubers, or do you want to scale everything back? GGG has been quite vague in answering this in the past, leaving many players confused about the direction of PoE 2's gameplay compared to PoE 1.
I mean, yeah, we never designed the PoE 1 Uber bosses to be one shot. That's not part of the core philosophy is how does this fight feel when it ends in half a second. But
of course.
Yeah, there's definitely when we are looking towards all these bosses, even the campaign bosses, it's making sure that the challenge is intense for where you're planned to be and what your power level is and so on. And that does mean for many boss fights, when they're really epic, they're going to last, and the boss is gonna push everything it can at you to try and take you on, and it's a challenge to beat it. And it's natural for characters' power to grow, especially as they outgrow the content. So we can expect, because we give the players huge numbers of tools, they will find ways to use and abuse them to do crazy things. That's just part of the game, and as players raise the bar, we'll raise the bar for challenge as well.
I think people underestimate the degree to which like people learning the game has changed the ability for people to be good at the game. Like when PoE 2 comes out, there might be ways that are in there to be able to do that stuff that we don't know about. But like, that's just by the nature of the fact that we tend to be very kind of like, we give people a lot of tools, right? We give them also, and they're able to combine them in interesting ways. But like, what I expect to happen is that at the start, people won't be able to do that level of power just because they haven't worked out the builds yet, if you know what I mean. Like, and so, and as that kind of like as that stuff is worked out over time, that stuff will then come. It's sort of like interesting. I've actually had a conversation with Mark quite a few times recently about like, well, why it felt like a few years ago this sort of exponentialness of PoE kind of like exploded a bit, and we kind of had a lot of discussions about like why is that the case, like what sort of happened, and it's kind of a combination of different factors, I think, that happened, which I guess is a bit of a non-answer, but like some of it really is just people learning to understand, like optimizing and optimizing and optimizing and understanding how all of that stuff works to a degree that they can now do the kind of things that they can do, as well as us just adding stuff. Like, it isn't entirely just power creep on our end, it's power creep on the players learning the game better too. So yeah, I suspect that things will get a bit of a reset just from the fact that all the mechanics are so different, all the skills and all that things work so differently. Or, you know, maybe someone will find something totally broken in the first day. I don't know, but my hope is that it will take a little while before the really interesting strategies kind of come together.
I feel like recent innovations in Path of Building alone have made my builds like 50% stronger.
It's very possible. It's very possible, yeah. Well,
All
I mean,
right.
the other interesting thing is how fast in PoE 2 do those kinds of tools become as good. I mean, I imagine it will be faster, right? Just because, like, you know, the underlying stuff is there. Yeah, sure, to some extent, although there's mechanically a lot of things are changing under the hood, right? Like, just like base things that you've been able to rely on a lot, you know, in terms of like just the base equations for how defenses work and things like that change a bit, and then that has large knock-on effects to the game. So, you know, like, people will have to work out like what the repercussions of all that is again, I think. But I mean, at the same time, like, I imagine the tools will be made quite quickly.
I imagine you're quite excited for that reset, right? Like, I am.
Absolutely. It's huge. Like, it's absolutely great to be able to just be like, okay, nothing is off the table for changes now. You know, like we are able to do whatever we think might need to be changed. We are able to look at it again. It is great. Yeah.
And every time we change one of those mechanics, it results in 10 other systems having to be rethought. And then those 10 systems require 10 systems each to be rethought. So it changes a lot.
Like, I mean, we have definitely not fully explored the repercussions ourselves of all of the stuff that we've changed, for sure, right? Like, there will have to be a lot of more work in that stuff, I have no doubt.
It's kind of our job as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Nuki, could you take us for this question, mate?
Sure. In the previous interview, you spoke about a difference in drops between, let's say, a novice and a very experienced player, being in like a factor of even thousands, say.
1,000.
Yeah. But with PoE 2, at least from what I can see, you tend to show that there is a bit of a flatter curve, if that makes sense, in terms of power gain.
I think
so. Do you just to like finish? Do you intend to force like the like this difference through other means, or will it be something that we will get later on, and maybe the gap will be like, let's say, smaller in the beginning because there is less potential for power?
Well, okay, so first of all, I wouldn't the word force there, I think, kind of doesn't quite exactly.
Right.
Like, it's not like we're forcing this to happen. What I would say is that you have to have the ability to make your character better to a large degree. Otherwise, what do you even have, right? Like, if the difference between a good player and a bad player is 10x, like, well, I mean, I don't think you've got enough of a game there. Like that. And the funny thing is 10x may even sound like a good thing if you're like to someone who isn't really kind of, I guess, being around the block with this stuff. Like, it may feel like kind of, oh yeah, like a good player is 10 times faster. But the thing is that there's so many things that factor on top of it. Like, you can have a 10 times difference in clear speed as just one element, and then you can have a 10 times difference in damage as well. And once you've got a 10 times difference in damage, that means that you can have like the person can do harder content, and of course, if they are going to multiply the content difficulty that they're going to be able to do in some way by 10x, they expect 10x rewards, or maybe they don't expect 10x, but they expect certainly a bump in rewards that is commensurate with the difficulty increase, right? And then you know,
even just having done a map many times, you know the layout, you know
Right,
which
right.
encounters you can rush in and which ones
Right,
you can
right.
hold
There's
back.
like many things.
And that's another 10 times on
Right,
top
right.
of those other things, so you quickly multiply to that 1,000.
Absolutely, like getting to 1,000 is honestly like the challenge is not so much getting to 1,000. The challenge is not getting above 1,000. That is like the that is the hard part. And like PoE 1 is absolutely in the 100,000 times territory, I believe, right now. We're kind of looking at where we're kind of at as far as like where that is. And so that this is a scaling back. And I think that
Right.
people maybe hear 1,000 times and think that like yeah, like I think they get the wrong idea about that. So like that's going to change things. I think one of the other things I've seen on Reddit and so on as well recently is like the concern about like, does this mean I'm going to have to be using Magic Find gear and stuff like that? And I guess I did want to talk about that as well, because that is something that people have been worried about, I guess. And I actually had another conversation with Chris about this because I needed to kind of refresh my memory of like, okay, so I literally said to Chris, like, Chris, I want you to pitch me from scratch again on why Magic Find gear is good. Because I need like I need a refresher course on this again, and it really comes down to like you need your game to have some axis of scaling that isn't just DPS. Like there has like having some other element, it just means that there's another factor to consider in your character build. And I guess that that's a thing that we do believe in, that it is important, which isn't to say like but it needs to be competitive, right? It cannot be the case that Magic Find should outcompete damage. Like there needs to be some balance there, but it's another thing to optimize for. At the point when you have gotten your DPS to the point where you can take down anything, having the ability to, okay, now I want to be able to do that at the same time as also having MF gear is like something that can add to that. So I think that's kind of the reason why it is important. If you don't have that, then like I mean it's similar to the balance between damage and defenses, right? Like it's just there's like a kind of triangle of factors you have to consider in your build. So it's just something to consider.
Why do you think
that's kind of the thing?
Why do you think Magic Find gear is unpopular amongst like at least a vocal minority in the community then?
I guess, that's an interesting question. I think it's a little bit to do with go on.
I think part of the reason is that the way it scales at the moment in PoE 1 is quite exponential. So a lot of Magic Find gear is a lot better than a little bit and a lot of damage. So the scaling we definitely want to make sure that doing low tier content with very high rarity gear is not better than doing high tier content with a bit of rarity gear.
Right. Yes, that is a very important factor. Actually, yes, that's important. Right. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yep.
Do you have anything in mind how to do that?
Honestly, so this particular area, like we will have to go and revisit those equations and do stuff, but I have to say it's not something we've yet done the balance for. I actually then also because there are all sorts of things deep in the dark recesses of the drop code that that exist that all have to be looked at again. The equation for the way that Magic Find gear has diminishing returns is weird and nobody understands it. And there's stuff going on there that I kind of need to really go back and dive into and have another have a look at. And I'm sure Rishi will there'll be long conversations with Rishi about exactly all the stuff that needs to happen here. But I need to actually honestly re-understand some of the reasons why some of that stuff exists in the first place again myself to really get it. But yeah, Rory is completely correct that the main thing that has to be the case is it can't be better to do lower tier content with MF gear than it is to do higher tier content.
Moi, je suis en train d'attendre après le dos du pont. Là, c'est tout un interview en arrière. C'est pour ça que je parle pas.
I love these Q&As. That's awesome.
It also feels like it cheapens a little bit of the rest of the game, right? If you have all these cool bosses and you designed all this great end game, and a month ago people started MFing in tier 7 maps, and you would think that they would use all that currency to move on.
I absolutely do not like that. That is a mistake in how that was. That shouldn't be like that. So yeah, you're correct about that.
All right, awesome. I love it. So my next question, then, changing topics a little bit, is about that weapon and passive tree swapping system that was previewed. So you get the ability to bind certain skills to certain weapons, and then even different passive trees to different weapons. What happens then if you do something like, say, you ignite an enemy with a tree and a weapon that's built for big ignite damage, and then you swap over to something that doesn't have that? Is the damage that you have scaled dynamically? Do you stop dealing that damage? So on, things like that?
So the only thing that doesn't snapshot. The thing that updates is your permanent effects. So if you swap, your auras will change effect. You can't turn on an aura in an aura spec and switch to a non-aura spec.
Right.
Same for minions. You can't turn on your permanent minions in one spec and then expect them to be as powerful as then your second set, which is just about having maximum spirit.
Which I believe I
curses.
might have incorrectly understood in previously. I'm not 100% sure I got that exactly right, because yeah, like in general, when you've got two weapon sets, you have two versions of the skill, but but for permanent effects, like things that are considered permanent, like minions, it does update when you change spec, but it's not only for permanent minions. Like a temporary minion will not change, because a temporary minion, well, being temporary means that you. So there's like a little tricky detail here, but effectively, while you have a weapon swap, you have two versions of every skill in your character, and when like both of them exist at the same time, so they sort of independently can have their own balance. And like if you fire a fireball and then change over to another one, like that fireball still is the fireball you cast from your other weapon set, so it gets all the bonuses that other weapon set conveyed.
Yeah, so if you have your totem bound to your first weapon set and you place that totem down, then switch to your second weapon set, it's still using the first weapon set's totem with all of its stats and benefits and things like that. So there is a lot of like, yeah, you can have a curse set up as your second spec if you've got the right sort of passive layout to make the alt passives fit with it. So you can have like big curses in one set and then take the time to weapon swap and then start doing your thing.
Yeah, so we're getting like the full power of both basically, and so like I could do a big ignite on an enemy and then swap to a second setup that has an extra curse and then curse the enemy to scale that.
Correct. Yeah.
Cool.
So there's also a big focus on making sure that like if you decide that you want cold in one and fire in the other, the rewards should be significant for that to go along with the fact that you could have had a curse as your second set.
Right. Like yes, you have like it's actually a different type of balance that we had to do before, because like there's a thing where we, like as Rory was just saying, we have to make sure that like now we have to consider like what could your other weapon set be and make sure that that those are like balanced with respect to each other, because like we wouldn't want it to be the case that like everyone just has an alternate like weapon set with curses, because like it has to be that there's something like that there's competitive options no matter what it is you choose to have as your alternate, even though they can be quite a different build.
Yeah, same goes for weapons. Like if you're about applying stuns with maces in one set, then using swapping to your weapon set for your second thing needs to be able to take advantage over those stuns in a significant way to make it rewarding to be using two different weapon types rather than just having two slightly different flavored maces.
For sure.
Oh, that's way better than I expected. That's really awesome to hear. Sick.
Sounds like a balancing nightmare, though.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. So then, that's pretty much our life at this point. So like
nice.
we would just why not make it 3 or 4 times harder to balance with every decision? Just whatever, we'll just do it.
Why not, right?
Deal with it.
More things to nerf. Let's go.
Yeah. Sure. That's one way to look at it. Yeah.
Rise has a question about spirit. Take us away, Rise.
Wait, do I? Okay.
Yeah, you do.
Can you talk more about spirit and why you're moving away from mana reservation? Can you reserve HP with it?
Really the reason to move to spirit is so that mana can matter more. It's about making mana cost the thing that more builds can care about and less of a afterthought or something that we balance around being something you can ignore.
Yeah, I mean the original conversation literally was, what are we going to do to make mana actually matter? And then it's like, well, what's the big problem with mana? Oh, it's the reservation system. Let's see what we can do about that. And then everything, like it was one of those really nice design moments when, and it's actually interesting because I believe, Rory, you'd actually come up with the system before.
Yeah, I'd like a couple of times for
Yeah. But then we sort of independently rediscovered it again. And then Rory was like, oh yeah, that's right. That's that same system I already came up with before now. And then when we started looking into that, it's like, okay, this actually solves like huge amounts of other problems. Like it became a thing. It's one of those awesome design moments where something happens and then you're like, oh, this fixes like these problems as well and these problems, and it turned into like a whole awesome thing. So we're really happy with that.
I mean, specifically when you're talking about reserving life, we're probably going to have a support gem that lowers the spirit cost of something slightly, but makes it reserve some life as well. So you've got that sort of things you can do with it, and we're going to have to come up with a bunch of cool supports that let you interact with spirit costs and spirit mechanics in ways that feel impactful.
There's nothing technically preventing reservation being a thing. We just have to be really of life and mana, that is, but we just have to be really careful that we don't accidentally make it again so that the most useful thing to do is that again, if you know what I mean. Like we want to make sure that you never get back into a position where everyone is reserving all their resources. Like it has to be that like that is not the default thing. Like that is a niche thing to do, because the normal thing to do is use your spirit bar. So that's just important. But there's nothing like we may revisit things. I mean, like you can. The mechanic is there for use on things like uniques or maybe support gems in some cases, or just certain other things. We just need to be careful with it.
All right.
You can get.
Go ahead.
It's like flat amounts of spirits, the spirit that you can get from quests and even killing
yes, there
bosses,
is
right?
other sources, so it's on the tree as well. And yep, there's a couple of quests that give you a little bit, and
Amulet, I saw.
And yeah, and then things. Yes, amulet, exactly. There was things like that. So there's places you can get it, and of course the big one being the scepter for the kind of minion focused build is what you'll typically be wanting to use. Yeah.
Nugi has a question about defenses next. Takes away, Nugi.
Of course I do.
Gotta build them.
Well, so you've been nerfing flasks and other things to that basically. Actually, let me just read the question. After the nerfs, the flask and the rebalance to armor evasion, the removal of dodge, multiple block nerfs, it seems that at an early stage, nowadays you demand either the use of determination or grace, either determination or grace or both, and you kind of have to have a very high health pool or a spell suppression to not just get flat out one shot, which leaves the players in kind of an awkward situation where you either have these things or you just get run over quite fast when you're near sort of the endgame yellow-red maps. Let's see here. So how do you feel about these changes to this? And are we going to see a similar thing in PoE 2?
Right. So I don't want to comment on the PoE 1 balance particularly, because it is not my expertise. Like Mark, if Mark was here, he'd have a whole rant about that. However, what I will talk about is philosophy of a few things in PoE 2 with regard to this. So number one is, it is not the case in PoE 2 that I would want every character to be running auras, right? Like that should not be the case. And another thing actually around this is that in PoE 2, we're getting a little bit more strict again with the fact that gear is supposed to be adding flat things, and the tree is supposed to be more multiplicative, and something like an aura also should be more multiplicative in general as well, I would hope, although we do need to discuss the specifics of those particular auras, which means that like something like determination and grace should not just be your one-stop shop to solve your defense problems. Like it should be that the items should matter a lot, and then you multiply what your items are doing with other sources, ideally.
Yeah, there's almost no way to get armor or evasion flat values outside of your gear pieces. You're not. There's almost nothing that you can just take to be like, I can't afford the gear. I'm using this unique, so I'll use just a random aura or any mechanic really outside of gear.
But in general, your tree should be multiplicative. There was actually, I had a whole rant about this that I gave to the whole company at some point in recent times. I'm just trying to remember the specifics of now. But we were talking about there was kind of a concept that we discovered about like flat things are like I had a better word for this, but a sort of despecializing in a way, because when you add a flat thing to something like everyone gets closer to being the same when you add flat values on something, and multiplicative things are specializing because they mean that everyone, like the person who is already better gets even better than that. So we have to decide, like, from what sources do we want things to be specializing, and from what sources do we want things to be despecializing. And the tree should be a specializing like thing. It should, like, because the whole idea with the tree is that you're picking the things that are going to synergize well with what you're doing, right? Like it's supposed to be an amplifying force to specialize your character in a certain way. Whereas the items on your character can be despecializing. Like you can use items to overcome issues that you have otherwise, but also you're just picking what you like. But like in both cases, you're picking like what you want to do with your build, but it's like you actually want them to have different roles to make them feel like different things. And then the question becomes, support gems, should they be a specializing or despecializing element of your build? And we came to the understanding that they should actually be something that is despecializing, I believe is where we actually ended up, because it's like the idea is that like you can use a support gem to overcome like to change what a skill, like if we want a support gem to change what a skill does, if they were a specializing thing, it would mean that okay, you like that would actually mean that you want to use a support gem, the same support gem with a given skill all the time, right? Because basically this would it would just be for a given support gem that this thing is best with that skill. So therefore, like there's no real decisions at that point. It's just like, oh, I'm using this fireball. The best thing that goes with the fireball is this thing here because it has the most effect on it. Whereas if they're despecializing, they actually mean that you actually have choices there. So that was a non-obvious answer. For that one, it's actually opposite of what you might initially think when you first see it. But this was a new way of thinking actually about things that I think that we sort of had, like on some level we understood this.